A Heart Closed. Chapter 1. The Silence Within. Ananya Verma was not always this way. Once upon a time, she was a girl who laughed loudly, danced in the rain, and dreamed of writing novels that would touch the world. But all of that felt like a lifetime ago. Now, at 29, she lived alone in a small apartment in Bengaluru, with books for company and silence as her shield. Every morning, she woke up at 6:30 a.m., made tea without sugar, and sat by the window watching the world begin its day. Children ran to school buses, couples walked hand in hand, and neighbors greeted each other. Ananya only observed, never participated. At work, she was efficient but distant. She was a senior content editor at a publishing house, respected for her skills, but known for her coldness. People spoke to her only when needed. She never joined office lunches, never shared personal stories, and always wore neutral colors: grays, browns, and blacks. Her heart had once been wide open. Now, it was tightly shut, locked, sealed, and hidden away. Chapter 2. The Past That Haunts Ananya. Ananya had once loved someone deeply. His name was Kabir Mehta. They met in college during a poetry reading. Kabir had a smile that could melt ice and eyes that seemed to read minds. He was bold, charming, and completely opposite of Ananya's shy and careful nature. But somehow, they fit perfectly. Their love story blossomed over 4 years, through bike rides, shared dreams, midnight calls, and promises of forever. They planned to move to Mumbai, start a life together, and even co-author a book. Ananya believed that with Kabir by her side, nothing could ever go wrong. Until the accident. It was a rainy evening. Kabir was coming to meet her. A truck skidded on the wet road. The police said he died on the spot. Ananya didn't cry at the funeral. She didn't speak for 2 weeks. Then, slowly, she folded her heart into a box and buried it inside her. Since then, she promised herself, no more love, no more pain. Chapter 3. The New Neighbor. Life went on, one quiet day at a time. Ananya's routines never changed. She avoided people, avoided emotion, and avoided anything that stirred the ghosts of her past. Then, one Saturday morning, someone knocked on her door. She opened it a few inches. "Hi," said the man standing there, smiling awkwardly. "I just moved into 5B. I think your name is Ananya, right?" She nodded. "I'm Arav Malhotra." She didn't smile. "I just thought I'd introduce myself," he continued, holding out a box. "Homemade brownies. I baked too many." "I don't eat sweets," she replied quietly, and started closing the door. But before it shut, she saw a flicker of something in his expression. Not offense, but understanding. "All right," he said with a nod. "Maybe next time." She closed the door and leaned her back against it. Who brings brownies to strangers in 2025? She fought. But that night, when no one was looking, she opened the door slightly, picked up the box he had left outside, and took a bite. It tasted like warmth. Chapter 4. A Crack Appears. Over the next few weeks, Arav didn't push. He nodded politely when they met in the hallway, smiled when she avoided eye contact, and only spoke when spoken to. It was strange. Most people tried to fix her, pry her open, or figure her out. Arav didn't. He just existed around her, gentle, steady, and kind. One rainy evening, she saw him struggling with grocery bags, and without thinking, opened her umbrella and walked over. He looked surprised, but grateful. "Thanks," he said, walking beside her. "Didn't think you noticed me." She didn't respond. But for the first time in years, she didn't mind someone walking next to her. After that, their conversations grew, small at first. Weather, books, music, then deeper. Philosophy, dreams, loneliness. Ananya didn't realize it, but her heart, sealed for so long, had begun to feel again. Chapter 5. The Wall Rebuilds. One evening, Arav asked, "Do you ever write anymore?" They were sitting on the terrace, sipping tea. Ananya stiffened. "No." "Why not? You're brilliant. You talk like someone who thinks in poetry." She turned her face away. "Writing is part of another life, one I don't want to go back to." Arav nodded. Okay. That night, she couldn't sleep. Memories of Kabir came flooding back. His laughter, his unfinished manuscript, his voice calling her anew with so much love. She sat at her desk, opened her journal, and wrote 3 lines. Then shut the book, angry at herself. The next morning, she avoided Arav for days. She stopped replying to his messages. When they passed each other, she mumbled quick excuses. Her heart, scared by its own softness, had closed again. Chapter 6. The Confrontation. One Sunday, Arav knocked on her door. She didn't open. "Ananya, I'm not here to fix you," he said gently through the door. "I just enjoy your company. But if you want me to disappear, I will." Silence. "I lost someone too," he said. 2 years ago. My sister. Cancer. She was my best friend." Ananya's hand reached for the handle. She used to say, "Love is not weakness, it's courage." I never understood it. Until now. She opened the door slowly. Their eyes met, and for the first time, Ananya saw in someone else what she had buried in herself. Pain, yes, but also the courage to heal. Chapter 7. The Letter. One evening, while cleaning her drawer, Ananya found an old envelope. It was addressed to her. Kabir's handwriting. She hesitated before opening it. "My Anu, if you're reading this, something happened, and I'm sorry. I don't want you to freeze your heart. I don't want you to turn cold. Promise me you'll live. Love. Write. Please. You are meant for more than pain. With all my heart, Kabir." Tears rolled down her cheeks. The letter shook in her hands. She clutched it to her chest and cried, for the first time in years. And then she sat at her desk and began to write. Chapter 8. The Book of Healing. Days turned into weeks. Ananya wrote every day, sometimes for hours, sometimes just a paragraph. Arav never asked questions, but every time she handed him a chapter to read, he would smile, read quietly, and say, "This is beautiful." She titled the book, A Heart Closed. It was fiction, but only just. A story of love, loss, and finding hope again. She sent the manuscript to her publishing house under a pen name. 3 weeks later, she got a reply. "We'd love to publish this. It's raw, powerful, and unforgettable." Her hands trembled as she read the words. She had found her voice again. Chapter 9. Opening the Door. The night her book was officially published, she invited Arav for dinner. She cooked for the first time in months, lit candles, played soft music. When he arrived, he looked surprised, but happy. They talked, laughed, and at the end of the meal, she handed him a signed copy of her book. "Your name's on it," he said. "I'm done hiding," she smiled. He opened the first page. There was a dedication. "To the one who helped me find the key. Thank you for waiting outside a heart closed." Chapter 10. A Heart Opened. Months later, the book became a quiet success. Not a bestseller, but a soul teller. Readers wrote to her. Strangers said her story helped them heal. And Ananya, she laughed again. She danced in the rain again. She even taught a writing class at a local school. She still remembered Kabir. She always would. But the grief no longer chained her. One evening, Arav took her hand in his. "Do you think hearts can love again?" She looked at him, her eyes filled with light. "Only if they're brave enough to open." And she was.